Hi Pisces, welcome to your January 2020 Astro Update. It's Raina here, and you're one of the luckiest ones because you have these transits in Capricorn, including the solar eclipse around Christmas time, that have formed a sextile with you, and therefore this is pretty easy manifestation for these things. Now, Capricorn for you is your 11th house of hopes and wishes. That's considered the luckiest house. So to have this solar eclipse energy going into January, so we have the sun in the 11th, we have Mercury there, we have Jupiter, which is, considered the luckiest planet. I think it's pretty safe to say that, in that 11th house. And then we have some of the heavy hitters, Saturn and Pluto there, as well as the South Node. So it's quite crowded in that 11th house. You may feel, Pisces, that it's now or never, that you really want to make your dreams come true. Now that Jupiter has moved into this house from your 10th house of career in Sagittarius, there may be a sense within you that there's more to life than your career, and that you have other goals, that you have other dreams. And so this is all about that. Mars goes into Sagittarius on the 3rd of the month. Mars is the god of war, Sag is fire energy. So for everybody, I think that this is going to be very energetic and a positive kind of a transit. However, for you, this is going to be also related to your career because it's going in your 10th house. Now, Mars in the 10th house can simply mean, because this is right after New Year's, that you're raring to go. Maybe you took some time off for the holidays and you are chomping at the bit to get back into that rat race. Well, I shouldn't put it like that, should I? But you know what I mean, that you're competitive. Mars is competitive and energetic and things like that. One thing to watch out for is an overly kind of like combative attitude towards this kind of area where you are fighting authority figures, perhaps in the workplace, your supervisor, or you are trying too hard to kind of climb the ladder of success. Because Mars can be aggressive, and it can be very annoying to other people to deal with somebody that is that pushy. And usually Pisces is the exact opposite of pushy. It's not a coincidence that in the tarot, in the major arcana, you are represented not only by the moon card, but also the hangman, Neptune, at least, that your ruler is. It's that sense of passivity, of surrender. And that's more up your alley. But, for some Pisces people in your natal chart, you may have Mars in Aries because Aries is right next to you. And that could very well be the case. And so you may already have that, embedded within your personality to begin with. But this can certainly have you pushing ahead in career matters. On the 10th, we have a lunar eclipse at 20 degrees of Cancer. Well, Cancer is a fellow water sign. It's forming a trine to you, Pisces, and it's in the 5th house, which, among other things, is the house of love. It's the house of pleasure. It's the house of creativity. A lunar eclipse here may give you insight into why you're still single if you are, because this is the house more, this is not the commitment house, this is the dating house. And you may realize, and this can come in a very, as a very emotional thing of like, wow, I don't allow people to get close to me, or I never have gotten over such and such relationship. And this can be very helpful to alter your behavior in the future. Now, the fifth house is the house of conceiving children. So suffice it to say, if this is a powerful full moon, and if full moons are very fertile, you might want to really make sure that you're being that you're protecting yourself, or somebody else is protecting themselves, getting busy with you, because this could be like super what do you call it, fertile, especially because it's in water. I think I read somewhere that water is very fertile. Also creativity, fifth house, water energy. It just may all come to you at once, this amazing idea for a novel, for a painting, for whatever. This can also be you, if you're dating somebody and you realize this is a person I want to commit with. You've gone as far as you can go in dating casually, and now it's time to make a commitment. In some cases, if the relationship is not going well, it could be released from your life, and that could feel like a relief because you don't have to be the bad guy. Somehow it just goes away, and you don't have to really lift a finger too much. The universe does the heavy lifting, let's put it that way. On the same day, on the 10th, Uranus goes direct at 2 degrees of Taurus. Boy, Pisces, you're really getting a lot of nice angles here. Once again, this is a sextile, and yet it's in the other direction, so this is in the 3rd house. I think Uranus is very good in the 3rd house because, first of all, the 3rd house is the mind as well as communication, and Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius, which is an air sign that is associated with the intellect. Gemini rules that 3rd house in the universal chart, and hence why it's connected to the mind. And so Uranus is a planet that is associated with a technology. And the 3rd house actually, Uranus rules the 11th house. And that can be about the collective, but reaching them through technology. So the internet is definitely linked to the 11th house, but I've also heard it linked to the 3rd house because the 3rd house is about communication, about media, and things like that. You may be somehow using technology to communicate more than you ever have before, Pisces. And this may have something to do with career matters. Now, with the lunar eclipse in your 5th house, maybe you're starting your own business and you're kind of finished with preparations and you're about to launch. So perhaps this is about making sure your blog or your website is up and running properly. On the 13th, Venus goes into your sign. I almost said Pisces, like I was talking about somebody else. And this means that until the 13th, Venus is in the house that you rule, the 12th house. What that can mean, Pisces, is that you may be having some kind of a romantic dalliance, if you will, and it is on the down low for some reason. Perhaps, the 12th house is a hidden house. So you may not want to be sharing, this is behind the scenes, you may not be wanting to share your paramour with the world for whatever reason. Is that person married? Are you married? Are you slinking around? This may be something that you're doing. It's not because you're underhanded, that you're cheating or anything, but simply that you don't want other people to kind of put their 2 cents in about your relationship. You might be around a lot of flying monkeys, or what they would call, what do they call that? It's a Yiddish word, yenta. That was the word I was thinking of. So, yeah, sometimes people it's interesting because I was just reading something about Pisces being very secretive, and I think that it must be true of all the water signs that you guys tend to be like very discerning, if you will, in who gets to know much about you privately. And this may extend to the person that you are dating, because you just don't want these yentas out here telling you, kind of gossiping amongst themselves and judging this person who may turn out to be the love of your life. On the 13th, when Venus goes into your sign, that's the first house, and you may give off quite a glow. You glow, girl, and you might just be like, have this aura that is hard to define, hard to put one's finger on, where you just are very attractive. We think about that word, attractive, and it's supposed to be synonymous for good looking, but kind of like not the highest amount of good looks, let's put it that way. It's kind of like pleasantly attractive. I mean, pleasantly good looking. And but Venus is about attraction, and attraction means drawing people like a magnet, or in the case of money, drawing money to you. So that's really fortunate as well, and that can help you because it's in the first house. It can help you promote yourself, Pisces. So it's like selling yourself to others so that you can either get a new job or, especially if you're kind of clashing with some authority figure, you may decide that you want to work somewhere else. And you need every advantage you can get. And this can be good for that. It can also be good for those people who are single and are dating and looking to meet Mr. or Ms. Right. On the 16th, Mercury goes into Aquarius, and so now you're looking at the beginning of some of this activity in the 12th house for you. Well, actually you had Venus there, so it's really not the beginning, but you're going to see more of it because then on the 20th, the sun goes there, and then you have a new moon in this 12th house on January 24th at 4 degrees of Aquarius. And this house is going to be a subtle influence because it's the 12th house. And the 12th house is the last house, even though we're talking about a circle. So, you have the end and then you have the beginning again. So it's not like the end of everything. But it can feel like when you have a new moon in the 12th house, that this is a great staging area for all your dreams, because you can already start to set your intentions or your vision for the upcoming year, even, I would say, because in the 12th house, your dreams are kind of in incubation. And when the planets go into your sign, for instance, having the new moon, which is a conjunction between the sun and the moon in Pisces, I'm getting ahead of myself, but on February 23rd, that's going to be in your first house. And that'll be kind of like, your solar return and your new moon are one of the indicators of like new beginnings for you during the year. And so, suffice it to say that when you're having a lot of activity moving into the 12th house, that even when you're talking about new moons, and so you think that it's going to be fresh new starts, there is still that sense of endings as well. And I would look at this as preparation for the upcoming year. And, what is it that you want to accomplish in this particular cycle, Pisces? Okay, that's what I have for you. I hope that you enjoyed this. And if you would like a personal reading, including 2020, looking at the 2020 aspects for you, but not just in a general way in your natal chart, please visit me at rainamoonastrology.com. The link is below. Take care. Bye.